In the latest reported case, a 5-year-old boy has died after eating suspected contaminated food in Diepkloof in Soweto. He's said to have become violently ill before he was rushed to a local clinic, where he was then declared dead. Newzroom Afrika's Veronica Makhoali joins us live from the township now for more on the story. Veronica, how many more times are we going to tell the story of a child who has succumbed as a result of something as innocent as eating snacks from a local spaza shop?
It really is starting to become a heartbreaking reality for many South African communities, where parents have to now be aware of what their children eat, and parents are essentially laying their children to rest after eating their snacks. What we do know so far about the story is that 5 children from this community here in Diepkloof in Soweto were at the spaza shop where we are currently at the premises right now, where they bought snacks known as caramel pops. It seems it's a popcorn-like snack, and police assume that this is what perhaps may have caused the triggering of these contaminated snacks. What we also know is, apart from the 5-year-old boy who passed away yesterday after being rushed to a nearby clinic, 3 children are in critical condition, while another one is being observed at the moment. As I said, Michelle, we are currently in the premises of the spaza shop, and where community members, again, that scene that we're so used to playing out in these communities where these tragic stories have been told, have gathered outside the premises and essentially are standing outside and are asking police to do their job to close down the spaza shop. As it stands right now, we know that the police have come in, as well as the inspectors. They have come into the spaza shop, where they have in fact taken a few of the items inside the premises that they believe may have been involved or may be contaminated, as we do not know yet, as investigations are of course underway. We still have law enforcement officials here, but the inspectors have cleared those alleged snacks, and currently, as we speak, they are now speaking with the spaza shop owners. This is in regards to the condition, in fact, of the spaza shop in terms of its regulation, its compliance. This, Michelle, comes as a point where the issue has been discussed even this morning by ministers about the regulation, about the distribution of food, and what communities are essentially raising concerns about. We're going to just take a moment to go inside this specific facility, where this spaza shop itself, where you can just see the conditions of how it looks, from the cracked ceiling, exposed wires. Some of the food, in fact, has been placed directly on the floor. This includes the snacks that have been bought by some of the children, by some of the residents in this community. The deplorable conditions has been something communities have been highlighting. But what is also concerning is the fact that as these stories have been unfolding, we have been urging communities and ministers, even today during the briefing, saying we are urging community members to essentially be vigilant in regards to what they are purchasing from these spaza shops. And it seems as though, even though there's a spotlight on these current conditions, residents are still going out to get food. Residents are still sending their children as well to buy snacks from these specific establishments. And I think, Michelle, what is also a concern, as we get an opportunity to speak to some of the officials here, is to understand, on the back of what the minister said today in Pretoria at a media briefing in regards to, of course, you'd remember the president's deadline of 21 days of registering spaza shops. We're going to get an indication of whether or not this specific establishment, the spaza shop owner himself, had been complying with what the government, the directive that was given by the government. I'm joined by the MMC for Community Safety. And thank you so much for your time. Can we just get an opportunity to get an update of what we do know right now, specifically about the condition of the children who are still in hospital? We understand some of them are in critical condition, but also the state of the families who've lost this young 5-year-old boy, and what we know.
Thank you so much for having me. I think this morning, the MMC of Economic Development, I received a call from the ward councillor, who then indicated that they had an incident which was obviously similar to what has transpired at Naledi. And then upon arrival, the briefing that I received was that one child had passed away, Actually, it was 5 children. 1 passed away, 1 is still critical, and then 3 of the children, they are still under observation. So when we got here, I then requested from the subs to gain access to the tuck shop. And then we did some bit of an inspection. We realized that there are some staff products which are expired. I then said, okay, we need to stop everything and call the health inspectors, which obviously arrived. And then the agreement was that the spaza shop owner needs to move out of the products. I then said, no, we can't proceed with that operation. We need to wait for JMPD now. We waited for the subs. Inspector was here. So we are doing the inspection. So we are going to confiscate everything. While we were still standing inside, we then realized that actually, because when we were conversing with this tuck shop owner, he indicated that he does not sleep here in the shop. And then we realized that there's a hole. When we saw the hole, we then pushed back that petition. It was a petition, only to find out that behind that there's a single bed where he sleeps. It's a bedroom. There's cosmetics, there's clothes, there's everything. We then also required for his asylum, and then he indicated it's with subs, only to find that he does have one with him. So when subs searched him, they were so frustrated because they took everything from him. Now they were surprised, how does this man have an asylum with him? Because they took asylum, the original copy, and a copy. Yeah.
And I hear you speaking about the issue of whether or not releasing the fact that he was in fact staying in this establishment. As you'd know, as a municipality, you are rolling out, of course, the regulation of these spaza shops. Did he give any identification whether or not he has in fact gone to some of your centers to register this specific spaza shop?
Quite interesting, because we also engaged with the landlord. And the landlord, who indicated to us that this spaza shop owner requested for her ID to go and register, and she didn't know that requesting for her ID, it was for what actually, and he voluntarily gave it away, and we have not, seen those documents where maybe the tuck shop owner received a slip as proof of registration. We have not seen that. So we were still waiting for the subs to say which document exactly did they take from him, because he slept in police station last night.
And MEC, I just have to ask on the state of the family. How is the family doing of the young boy, the 5-year-old that passed away following the incident yesterday?
Okay, we have not gone through that side because there were too many journalists who were still speaking to the family. So I was waiting for the MEC of Finance and Economic Development, who indicated that he'll be here in the next few minutes. He was supposed to arrive at 12:30. So we'll go and see the family, and yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, MMC. Definitely the MEC Lebogang Baile is expected to come to this community where he will be speaking to the residents. But very interesting enough there, Michelle, hearing about the issue that was also a topic of conversation during the minister's briefing today on response to the foodborne illnesses, about the issues that have been raised on social media about some South African citizens assisting illegal foreign nationals or those that have these establishments without the right documentation and registration, using their documentation to register these spaza shops under their name to run this business. But we heard the Minister of Cocta speaking there, saying that this will not be allowed to take place because the system will not allow it. He said that they are aware of these incidents, these fears that have been put in the community in regards to South Africans aiding illegal foreign nationals in registering these establishments, and saying that they will be clamping down even on government officials who are assisting in this. But one of the organizations that have been at the forefront of bringing up this issue, but also has been highly criticized in the manner in which they've done it in terms of blocking some people from registering, has been Operation Dudula. And I'm joined by Zandile here from the organization. Thank you for your time. Another incident, just as we, or as government, is trying to stem this growing issue.
I don't think they're trying to stem it. If you really want to stem this issue, you should just shut down all these spaza shops. Regularizing them when they've already committed crime, that's not fair for us as South African. I mean, we're very disappointed with the president of this country when we had thought that he's going to declare a state of an emergency when it comes to this immigration issue, because we saw it 4 years ago when we started Operation Dudula, but we have been ignored all of these years. Now, since last year, we've been losing children, and I know media will always report a number of 23 children dying. That's not true. There's a whole other children that have not been reported on. I mean, it's just that we as Operation Dudula get these reports on a daily basis. The number is way too higher than 23, and it would really be nice if they could declare a state of an emergency, because we are really in a crisis.
All right, thank you so much for your time. And that mention of a state of disaster, of course, comes after the government is at the moment has classified it as a state of disaster and saying that they are in the works of declaring it. And of course, they will be doing this by giving how the outcome goes of the implementations and the directives that have been given by the president in regards to this. But Michelle, we will remain on the ground to get more developments about the immigration status of the spaza shop owner, and also an opportunity to speak to some of the residents and, of course, the family. Back to you.
Veronica Makhoali, thanks very much indeed for that update. Live to us there in Diepkloof in Soweto. That national disaster declaration by the Disaster Management Centre just gives us the extent to which this is an issue around the country. So